Now, as you know, over the entire week, we have some very special guests. These are our VIPs, so to speak. Our partners, go ahead, have a seat, take your time. Our partners, some of our most valued partners are actually speaking here, which is a special treat because they always give us a very different view upon things. The next partners coming up to speak on stage are of Asahi, and they're going to share how they put their ambitions into practice. So who are the two speakers we have coming up on stage? Allow me to do the short introductions. They have a lot in common. Both of our speakers were with SAB Miller right up until Asahi took over the European business unit. They then both transferred from the purchasing department from Europe to Singapore to the newly found Asahi Global Procurement Office, and again in Singapore. So today they're here to tell us all about Asahi's sustainability goals and the expectations of its suppliers. Please welcome them on stage, give them a very warm welcome because they've traveled far and we're glad that they get to be here with us today. Here comes CEO of Asahi Global Procurement, Tomas Veit, and Global Category Manager, CAPEX and MRO, Mario Vecchia. The stage is yours.
Thank you very much. Can you hear me? Oh, good. I see very familiar faces, so it's really true that the beer industry is a small world, like a small family. And you come across lots of people many times. So first of all, it's a pleasure for myself to be here. When I heard a request coming from Krones to be present and showcase our view on sustainability, I was really delighted to have the opportunity to do so. So I immediately contacted Tomas to make sure that this is actually happening. I had the pleasure to work with Krones for many years, more than a decade, many successful projects done together. And also I must say that in the challenging situations, the supplier was always behind us. He never left us alone. And this is really like to prove the fact that we trust your organization, your skills, your technology, and we see you as more as a partner rather than just a supplier. So this is really highly appreciated. We have limited time, so I don't waste any more time with my speech. I'll let Tomas to continue and provide you more insights on sustainability from a Asahi perspective.
Thank you, Mario. Good afternoon, everyone. How are you doing today? All good? Good, great. So we have roughly 20 minutes to introduce you what we are doing with sustainability in the era of Asahi Group. And it's my great pleasure to introduce what we are doing primarily in the procurement in close collaboration with our partners like Krones. So where to start? My brief introduction. Usually people are asking few fun facts and it's really boring in this particular era. So I just brought 3 animals that are very close to my heart. The first one is wolf, because for those who are traveling, usually we are traveling alone, we are spending days and nights alone, and that's why that animal is very close to my lifestyle. The second, for those who doesn't know, my hobby is farming. So I was operating the horse farm for several years in Europe, and that's why horses became part of my life. And the last one is my dog, Aura, who joined my life exactly in the month when I joined SAB Miller at that time. And unfortunately, she died last year, but she was with me 16 years. So enter my career so far at Asahi and SAB Miller. And I'm surviving still in Asahi, so let's see for how long. But she really spent majority of my time in our business next to me. So what we prepare for you today, we are not bringing any case studies. We have seen a lot of case studies today. We are bringing a slightly different topic, and we are bringing a topic how to integrate sustainability in procurement and in the ways of working within our organization. I will do the brief introduction of our business and our procurement organization. We will touch also why we need to change as a procurement organization and how it resonates with the sustainability matters. And then I will bring in front of you our sustainability framework that we introduced as a part of the procurement operations earlier this year. So, few facts about us. Who knows Asahi? Oh, amazing. What do you know? What kind of product? Beer. Anything else? Cool. So we are naturally, we are brewer. Our core domain in Europe is brewing, so we have multiple beer brands here in Europe, including Grolsch, Pilsner Urquell, Kozel, and many others. Tysky for those who are from Poland, or Dreyer from Hungary. But at the same time, we are a big soft drink producer, mainly in Asia Pacific. We even do the food, even baby food and some other stuff that are part of our portfolio. We have very popular whiskey and gin produced directly in Japan. So our product range goes far beyond beer, but naturally in Europe, beer is our core domain. We have more than 60 production sites across the world, many of them equipped by Krones solution, and we are employing almost 30,000 employees across our operation in 4 different continents. When we are speaking about us as a procurement and as a function, 2 years back we got like 4 procurement teams operating differently across the world, having different agenda, having different approach to sustainability, but also to the way how we are managing the traditional scope of work for procurement organization. Last year in January we introduced one fully integrated procurement organization that is putting all our teams across the world together, and was the first installation of the global function within the Asahi context. When we were thinking about the figures and key facts for those who likes numbers, so our size is the traditional mid-size type of the global FMCG company. From the procurement perspective, we have between 300 and 400 procurement experts across the world. We are managing almost $10 billion spent with our third parties, and we have roughly 30,000 unique suppliers. We also, for the first time, created something what's traditionally known as a global function, which is not known to Asahi context, and we are operating in the fully integrated way across the world with the extended scope of work in case of sustainability and risk management, which is becoming heart of everything what we are doing as a procurement. And as it was mentioned in the introduction, we built the new headquarters for our function and for our business in Singapore, and we both with Mario are operating from Singapore as of last year. So why we are speaking about sustainability and why we are speaking about transformation? It's relatively simple. The world is changing and is changing rapidly in different areas that are going beyond the traditional changes that we experienced in the prior decade or prior few decades. The supply chain disruption are daily bread for our teams. The economical and geopolitical situation is evolving in different parts of the world independently, whether we are speaking about the conflict between Russia and Ukraine, or we are speaking about situation between India and some other surrounding countries, or we are speaking about some other aspects that we are experiencing, for instance, in the case of US. The digitalization is completely changing the world, how we are operating as a business, as a function, but also how our consumers and customers are operating and selecting the way how to purchase our product. The sustainability in the area of the environmental and social is much stronger and much more important than it used to be 20 years ago. And naturally, in our case, the consumer dynamics is changing almost every day. What was in the past normal introduction of the new product on an annual basis or on quarterly basis, almost every day we are introducing something new for our consumers and customers across the world. And that's the key reason for us to really massively push the procurement through the transformative program that is really helping us to reshape the way how we are structured, but also how we are operating and what we are trying to do as a value delivery to our businesses. When we were thinking about how to integrate sustainability in our procurement function and our procurement business, we start to use the traditional 7P blocks, the strategic blocks that are giving you a chance to really create any type of the function going even beyond the procurement. And the sustainability really became the full integral part for every single block that is mentioned here. Normally every function is starting with purpose. Why do you exist? Why you are on this planet? Why you are important and why you should be part of the organization? And naturally we integrated the sustainable value delivery, but also the positive impact on planet and on people as a part of the reason why we exist as an organization. Then we started to think about how to really build the function and how to integrate sustainability into every single core block. And we started with the people. And we integrated not only the dedicated sustainability team that is managing the streams I will mention in a second, but also we integrated into accountabilities as a part of the job description and in the way how our people should operate moving forward as a human beings. In case of processes, we introduced the robust process map for the sustainability matters, but also governance and controls, assuring with policies that we can really deal with this agenda seriously versus the past that was, in many cases, for people rather hobby than the core focus of their job. We introduce many platforms that are helping us to drive the sustainability in the meaningful way, but also in the very transparent way, because now more than ever it's important to ensure you can really demonstrate what you are doing, how you are measuring the progress, and how you are checking the compliance against the commitment you are making externally. We also sign a lot of partnership, not only internally with our core key stakeholders, but also externally in area of the economic development board, in case of Singapore, in case of different governance across the world. We sign a lot of agreements with the third parties to work closely on the sustainability matters as a partners, but also we are partnering with universities and other alliances, assuring that we are really enriching and extending the work that is part of our ecosystem, giving us chance to really deal with this matter properly. Just to really treat planet and sustainability seriously, we created a standalone block of all the stuff, including the project pipelines for sustainability only, in order to ensure that there is the clear framework, assuring everyone understands what we are doing, what we want to achieve, and how we want to achieve it. And last but not least, we created the extended dashboard that is giving us a chance to really measure how we are progressing with some of the sustainability projects that we are having in our case. So, how our frameworks look like? I think the critical is for us, sustainability is not only about the environmental stuff, it's about environment and social piece. So these both elements we can influence as a procurement through our suppliers and supply chain. What's critical is that naturally beyond the traditional principles, we have very clear areas where we want to drive the impact with our suppliers. The first one is about climate change, concretely speaking about Scope 3 and how to influence, together with our third parties, the Scope 3 emission footprint that we are having as a business. Second is about nature, primarily speaking about sustainable agriculture and how to really make it sustainable for the farmer, including their resilience. Human rights and the human rights due diligence program is the next one that is giving us chance in the high-risk categories and high-risk territories to manage the human rights in the right way and in the way that we would normally expect to do. And the last one is naturally about circularity, how to ensure that we are using as much as possible recycled content in the input side, but also that all the products that we are putting into the market as a non-returnable type of the packaging is again recyclable, and we can really close the loop. We also clearly articulate where, as a procurement, we should navigate our effort and focus. And we have the 4 categories that are really top priority for us, because we know, for instance, our Scope 3 emission footprint, so we know where to really focus on. In case of circularity, we know what we need to do with the pre-selected one-way packaging materials, etc. So we are focusing on 4 core categories. It goes beyond that, but these 4 are the most critical for us because they are making 80 or 90% plus of the footprint in each pillar I mentioned before. The first one is agriculture, because naturally we are buying a lot of agriculture commodities across the world, including those that are very special. We are buying fruit from 3 different continents. We are buying coffee, we are buying palm oil, so we are buying many very special categories that are really requiring high touch. Packaging, with no doubt. We need to pack all the products that we are putting into the shelf for the consumers and customers. Cooling, because many of you hopefully like our beer, and if you like the beer must be chilled, and you need to chill it either in the fridge or in the cooler just to have the chilled draft beer. And the last one, we need to import, and then we need to distribute our product. So logistics is naturally creating big focus for us in order to ensure we can really influence the 4 pillars I mentioned before. In order to make everything happen, it's not so much about what's the target and ambition, but how you are building the foundation. And I'm a strong believer that if you build very strong functional capability in particular area, the results will come automatically. For us, capability means 4 pillars. And normally in all the books you will see 3, but I will explain the 4th one. The first one is about people. If you have great people, you are one step ahead of others, because you can use it as a competitive advantage in area of the capability build. If you are not missing processes and you have very strong, robust processes, policies, and methodologies, again, you are equipping your people with supporting tools that are making their life easier and they can perform more. If you link it with the digital platforms and the digital tool included AI, you naturally you are increasing the efficiency, you are increasing their productivity, and in many cases you are driving the full transparency and compliance. So this is the traditional magic triangle of capability that you can find when using the ChatGPT or any other tool. We added the fourth one, and that's for us the fourth pillar of the not triangle but quadrant that we are using in case of capability, and that's the partnership. Because without partnership within our organization, within our business, and with external parties, including suppliers, we cannot succeed. We cannot succeed with our suppliers. We cannot succeed in many cases without our customers. We need to do it together, and that's the beauty of the sustainability. It's not about one single company, one single person. It's about the ecosystem that we are creating and that is helping us on our journey towards more sustainable world. In case of question about the targets and the key focus areas for us under climate change, with no surprise, we are focusing on Scope 1 and Scope 2 and on how to support our business to reduce it, again, together with our suppliers who are delivering the equipment that is helping us to reduce the CO2 footprint there. Scope 3 is completely about the external world and how to influence what's happening before the supplier is getting the raw materials, when processing it into the finished good for us, for instance, packaging, and then what's happening with our products that are getting on shelf. In case of nature, there are many special stuff that we are trying to do, but I would say the biggest focus over the last several years is special sustainability programs with our agriculture partners, giving us chance to tackle the human rights, the stability of the farmers, the new technologies and new ways of working that are introduced to the smaller farmers, availability and access to money and insurance, and many others that are making the agriculture more sustainable also from the economical perspective. And human rights, with no surprise to you, everyone is speaking about that, but it's very hard to tackle it for many of us. And for us, it's the new chapter that we took as a priority last year when developing very robust human rights due diligence program for 30,000 of our suppliers, focusing on the high risk, those that are really in the very special categories and very special territories, but then going through the tier 2 suppliers and tier N suppliers across the board, assuring that we can really assure that our suppliers and their employees across the board, including their sub-suppliers, are treating them in the equal way. Last but not least, in circularity, again, with no surprise to many of you, reaching the higher level and higher ratio of the recycled content is the traditional ambition for all the beverage companies. The same is valid for us. High focus on PET and how to ensure that our soft drinks primarily are in the 100% recycled PET bottles, but moving beyond that and speaking more about how to increase the recycled content in cans, how to increase this in case of bottles across the portfolio of the product that we have, and through that support the Scope 3 emission footprint, but also support the closed loop economy that is normally experienced in the era of the containers. New program that we introduced just to again attract more of our supplier on the journey towards the sustainable future. It's a program called Asahi, which is our external collaboration program and platform, giving us chance to speak and work with very pre-selected strategic partners about how we will really shape the future together. It's again, the term Michi is coming out of the Japan. It's about way, Asahi way, how to really drive the pathway to the sustainable future together. Not only about us, not only about suppliers, but how to really create the plans and ambitions together, including targets, including the project that will help us to really overcome some of the challenges that we are normally experiencing. Key word is us and collaboration with suppliers, creating the new ecosystem and assuring that we can together be much stronger and much more efficient and productive versus the pure fact when we will do the stuff on our own or suppliers on their own. There are a few areas where we are focusing on. Naturally, we are speaking about the environmental impact with core focus on the greenhouse gases and their reduction. We are speaking about how to really assure that those suppliers and their entire supply chain, including tier 1 suppliers, are respecting all the human rights that we can imagine. We have 6 special categories of the human rights where we know that is the biggest breach. Some of them you couldn't even believe that something like that is happening. So that's why for us this category is very special, because it gives us a chance to really enrich the way how the procurement can drive the value in this very special social area. We are promoting the sustainable sourcing and how to really drive through the partnering the right way, how to really drive the programs and activities. We are providing increased transparency again with suppliers, ensuring that in many cases we can track to the field where the commodity is coming from. And then we hope that sustainability will more and more again marry together with innovation. And together with our strategic partner, we will be able to bring the innovation that are at the same time supporting the sustainability agenda, primarily in the area of the environment. Key takeaways from my end and from our end. First one, everything is about mindset. If the mindset won't change, nothing won't change. If people will complain that everything costs money, we won't be able to progress as we generally expect. And if we will still search for the excuses why not to do some stuff, again, we will rather idle or return one step back than to do 2 or 3 steps ahead. But the core KPIs, the first one, our key takeaways, the first one is about measurement. Even for sustainability, it's valid more than usual. If you don't measure, you don't manage. And it's very simple. If you have very nice slides, if you have very nice projects, but you don't know what's your Scope 3 emission footprint, you cannot measure the progress. You cannot benchmark yourself. You cannot target your teams. You cannot speak with suppliers about the fact-based type of the dialogue that will give you a chance to really concretely address some of the challenges that you have. Second, if you want to make it perfect, it will take too long. So there are so many stuff that we can do if we will do all of them 100% precise. And I know that today all the presenters were from Germany, so understand that there could be the attention to the detail slightly higher versus, for instance, Asia. We want to be able to complete a majority of our projects on time. And again, some people, in case of the human rights, will suffer longer, and the environment will suffer definitely longer. So we need to balance the precision with the time, and to ensure we are really dealing with that in the fair balance. And the last one, and I mentioned it today, I hope at least twice, we cannot do it without strong supplier partnership. We can be the best procurement organization, we can be the richest company on this planet, but without 30,000 suppliers we have, and really few thousand of very strategic important suppliers, we cannot make happen the dreams that we have on our list. So big thanks to all the suppliers that are with us here in the room. Big thanks to Krones for the support that we are getting on a regular basis. The key point is, don't do stuff in isolation. You can, as an individual body, change a lot. As a team and business, you can change even more. But as an ecosystem that is really integrating the suppliers, customers, employees, and the communities, we can really change the world. Thank you.